Alright, so my name is James Williams Jr. and I just did a video about some stuff involving PTSD, and I gave y'all a little bit of myself, in that. And the only reason I open up like that is because I'm still going through school bullying, even though I'm in college, and most people don't recognize it or care. And like in high school, no one really says something. And when you're in a particular situation like I am, where there's a person in my class who just can't stand me. I didn't do anything to him, but he can't stand me. He also is a person of authority, so, you know, no one is above the law, even cops. So that should give you a clue of what's going on. And the thing is, I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, I could hurt this guy. We're both vets, but I could hurt this guy. Because unlike him, all I've ever done in my lifetime is fight. I've had to fight at home. I've had to fight at school. I've had to fight in general. Since I was 6 years old, all I know how to do is fist fight and martial arts. I don't want to hurt anybody. But I have 3 to 5 fears that I have not truly accomplished beating. Alright? My number one fear is fear of being poisoned. I ain't never been afraid to get into a fight. I've been afraid of what I will do to a person to survive that fight. Because since I was a little kid, I've never lost. I've lost a couple of sparring matches, but they weren't real. They was just tagging, like slap boxing. I've lost a lot of slap boxing matches. I'm not a fucking boxer. But when it comes down to the real McCoy about we about to draw some blood out of a motherfucker, I ain't never lost those motherfuckers. Because these things right here, and these things that I stand on, are some dangerous ass weapons. Another fear I have a fear of going out and not being able to control myself and like completely just killing everybody within striking distance. And that's why I tell people all the time, it's like, look, there's 2 things you need to not do to me. One, I don't have reflex control, and if you jump out at me, I will not be held responsible for the ass whooping that you will receive. Had an incident with my dad when I was in my 20s, and I would say I was at my peak, or I was peaking martial arts skills, and I still think that I haven't really reached my peak. I think I'm still peaking at 44. My dad came up behind me, and it only took like a split second for me to elbow him in the face. And without thinking, because he came up behind me, all I seen was his hands. His hands came up behind me, and I was like, wham! And it was done. And when I realized what I had done, it has never left me. And it's the same thing with when I hit the girl in the mouth that called me a nigger. That's never left me. Those are 2 things I've never forgiven myself for, and I probably never will, because as a martial artist, you not only hold your life in your hand, but you hold everyone around you's life in your hand. And my greatest fear is forgetting that not only am I a martial artist, but I'm afraid that I'm going to forget that I'm an actual human being. And humans, we are flawed by design, but the thing is, how you adapt, how you ascend, how you grow forward, you know, is what makes you. You know, I don't think I'm of great character. Yeah, I really don't. I don't think that I am worthy of anything. I do know that I am dangerous. I know that. I know that better than anyone else. I know just how dangerous I am. And the thing with that is, a lot of people don't know if they're dangerous, and a lot of people don't know if you're dangerous. And a lot of people can push your buttons until you actually show them that you're dangerous. And my fear in that is that I'm going to remember just how dangerous I am. So this is why I tell people these things. When I drink, I lock that door. I have knives all over this room. All over this room. Anybody come in this thing, I'm so afraid that I'm going to kill them just because I know I can. And then, I don't want to put myself on the flight risk radar or whatever. I'm not a terrorist. I would never betray my country. But I sit there and I think to myself, what would I do to someone just by accident? When I started learning martial arts, I started learning right from wrong better. I started learning moral right and moral wrong, not just right and wrong, but moral right and moral wrong, is the ability to know what to use and what not to use. And fighting is second nature to me. It's like almost, it's hell. Let's call it what it is. It's actually first nature to me, and it's not something that I'm proud of. It's not something that I'm ashamed of. It's just something that I know I'm fucking good at. And people look at me like, "Oh, you're 5'3", you ain't shit, you ain't nothing." I was like, "Uh huh." I want you to see that, because when I'm standing over top of you, I want you to remember that the last things you said to me was, "You're 5'3", you ain't shit." It's pretty hard to denounce somebody ain't shit when they're standing over top of you after they've beaten your ass. And the hardest part of being me, let's call this a getting to know James section. You know, the hardest part of being James Edward Williams Jr. is keeping my hands to myself. No one on earth who is not a fighter or an MMA master or a martial artist in general or a street fighter or whatever the hell you want to acknowledge me as, no one on earth knows just how fucking hard it is to not put your fist through someone's throat. No one knows that. No one knows that better than me. Trust me. I fight the urge to beat the fuck out of people every fucking day. Will it make me feel better? Yeah, honestly. If I could beat the fuck out of people every day, and not everybody, just certain people who, I'm sorry for lack of a better term, fucking deserve it. If I could beat the fuck out of everybody who actually deserves an ass whooping every fucking day and get paid, that would be great. I'd never be broke. But even some people I'd beat up just for the fuck of beating them up. Now I know that sounds bad because I'm a martial artist. I know that sounds bad as a person who's trying to be discovered as an actor, who's trying to make his way in this world and teach people the good points of martial arts. Well, here's the thing about martial arts. There's a reason why there's a yin yang symbol, alright? Because for every bit of good in you, there's just as much evil. And you have a little evil in you, whether you like it or not. And I just exposed all of that right there. And I don't really think I have any good in me, actually. I think that I deal well. I deal and I adapt. You would, if you wanted to compare me to any Saiyans, it would be like I'm more Vegeta than Goku. In the long run, if you wanted to compare me, I was like, yeah, I'm leaning more towards the Vegeta side than the Goku side. And you'd be like, is that just because you're short? I said, no, this is because sometimes shit needs to get done, and I don't have a fucking problem with it. No, I do have a moral compass, though. It depends on the shit that needs to get done on whether I'm going to do it or not. And I guess I could say my moral compass got more enlightened when I joined the military, and my rational or my rationality kind of it fluctuates, you know. And I use that word loosely because sometimes I feel like being a very good person, and sometimes I just want to rip people's heads the fuck off. Now, I will say in my infantry training, it was drilled in us, that every day, one shot, one kill, we will. I was infantry, It's just not some bullshit you can just pick up out of a fucking internet and start saying this shit. You probably can now if you're paying attention. But, I've learned a lot. And I've also learned a lot of things that we, as the United States Army, probably should stop doing. We have a military TV channel. Some of the things they show on there, the enemies are watching, and we probably shouldn't be showing that shit. But I'm not in charge of that. If you guys are watching from Fort Benning, Georgia, I need a job. If you're willing to give that to me and move my ass back down there, I'm more than willing to come. But, for military TV, if they just want to show history stuff, that's where it should end, right there. It shouldn't talk about current fighting weapons and stuff like that, because we're not the only ones watching it. And as a soldier in the United States Army, I know one thing for sure. The best intel that you can get on your enemy is the best that you can use against your enemy. So we need to stop posting all of our new shit on our military channel. I'm sorry, you guys might not like that, but hey, them dog tests cost me a hip. So, I'm going to give you the best advice that I can give you from a military standpoint. And maybe if we stop airing the shit that we have, like our new, like when our machine gun shotgun came out, the A12 or whatever the fuck that shit is, with the automatic shotgun, where it shoots the buckshots. You know, we shouldn't be airing that shit. You know, now if you want to go through civilian channels and do it that way, yeah, because you know usually for military we're supposed to get the shit with the most umph. But if the civilians can get it and the bad guys can get it, then all we're doing is giving them an access to fuck us up, and that's not cool. Now, since we're getting to know me, I haven't practiced kung fu in 3 years. 3 fucking years. I'm not a happy camper, but I'm here. I want to end this with this. I want to end this with something very knowledgeable for everyone. We all hit crossroads, not just one, many of them, and we hit choices. You can make a good choice or a bad choice, and that choice from that day forward will decide your fate. I advise you to try and make as many good choices as possible, but that doesn't always work because I come from a family, with the exception of me, who will not do the right thing unless it's the only option. Well, on the other hand, I'm a strong believer in if you do the right thing now, you won't have to pay for that shit later. If everybody else took note of that, the world would probably be a safer place. Don't do the right thing because it's the only option. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. I'm James Williams Jr., Kung Fu Number 2. Be seeing you.